If I could ask everyone to be seated, we'd like to start the meeting.
Are we ready to start? Okay,
Yes.
good, excellent. Good morning. We are reconvening our board meeting. Today is Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. Today we hold our annual meeting of the State Board of Equalization with the California County Assessors. And if I had my gavel, I'd be banging it right now. So, Ms. Cicchetti, could you please call the roll?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Let's see here, Chairman Gaines,
Here.
Vice Chair Lieber. Here. Member Vasquez. Present. Member Schaefer. Present. Deputy Controller Emron.
All right, our quorum is present. Excellent.
Present.
Okay. Welcome everyone to the annual Board of Equalization meeting with the California County Assessors. We will call the roll of the California County Assessors in alphabetical order by county. Please respond loudly and clearly so that the other participants in the auditorium can hear that you are present. We also ask that if you are present in the auditorium stage using the steps on the left side. So what we're going to do is we're going to call roll, and then we're going to have everybody come up, and we're going to get ourselves set up for a photograph. And we'll take the picture, and as they're pulling the equipment down, we can talk for a few minutes and kind of catch up. And so, Ms. Cicchetti, if you could please start with calling the California County Assessor roll.
All righty. Good morning, everyone. Just again to repeat the instructions, if I call your name and you're present, if you would mind getting up and walking up onto the stage so that we'll be able to prepare for our annual photograph. It'll help us get that set up a little quickly. So we'll get going. All righty. We'll begin. Our first county is Alameda County, Phang La. Alpine County, Donald O'Connor. Amador County, James B. Rooney. Welcome. Butte County, Alyssa Douglas. Calaveras County, Larry Durham. Colusa County, Bob Buckner. Contra Costa County, Gus S. Kramer. Del Norte County, Jennifer Perry.
Good morning. Here today virtually.
Yes, thank you. El Dorado County, John DeVille. Fresno County, Paul Dykotz. Glenn County, Cindy Perez. Humboldt County, Howard LaHaye. Imperial County, Robert Menville. Inyo County, David Stottlemyre. Kern County, Laura Avila. Kings County, Christine Lee. Ready? Lake County, Richard A. Ford. Lassen County, Nick Salio. Los Angeles County, Jeffrey Prang. Madera County, Brett Frazier. Marin County, Shelley Scott. Mariposa County, Tammy Gethart. Mendocino County, Katrina Bartolome. Merced County, Matt H. May. Modoc County, Kristen DePaul. Mono County, Barry Beck. Monterey County, Soshi Marina Camacho. Napa County, John Tudor. Nevada County, Rolf Kleinhans. Orange County, Claude Parrish. Placer County, Matt Maynard. Plumas County, Cindy Froggett.
I didn't get the mic on.
Riverside County, Peter Aldana. Sacramento County, Christina Wynn.
Back to settings, or I don't know what you clicked to get here.
San Bernardino
Accept
County. Who's ever on Teams, would you mind muting your microphone? San Bernardino County, Tom Slavic. I apologize. San Benito County, Tom Slavic. San Bernardino County, Josie Gonzalez. San Diego County, Jordan Marks. San Francisco County, Joaquin Torres. San Joaquin County, Steve Bestelrides. San Luis Obispo, Tom Bordenaro. San Mateo County, Mark Church. Santa Barbara County, Joseph E. Holland. Santa Clara County, Greg Monteverde. Santa Cruz County, Sherry Thomas. Shasta County, Leslie Morgan. Sierra County, Laura Marshall. Siskiyou County, Craig Kay. Solano County, Glenn Zook. Sonoma County, Deva Marie Proto. Stanislaus County, Don H. Gakel. Sutter County, Kathy Scriven. Tehama County, Burley Phillips. Trinity County, Shauna White. Tulare County, Tara Freitas. Tuolumne County, Keena Whitman. Ventura County, Keith Taylor. Yolo County, Jesse Salinas. And Yuba County, Steve Douglas. And that is the end of the roll for the counties. We will now proceed with taking the photograph, if you wouldn't mind paying attention to the photographer.
Or just chat back and say your camera's malfunctioning, says your camera failed. Try clicking it one more time before you say that. Permission. Okay, open privacy settings.
All right, we ready to go again? We good? Wonderful. All right, I just wanted to take this opportunity to welcome all of our county assessors. Appreciate you making the effort to get here. We have a good turnout. I think I've counted 25 assessors participating. I think there's 20 here physically, so really appreciate that. And just want to speak to how important it is that we work together collaboratively. And as you have issues and challenges, that we continue to communicate and figure out how to solve those issues. So it's really a pleasure to have you here. I look forward to talking to you more intimately during our lunch. And I want to thank our Vice Chair Lieber for helping coordinate all the lunches that we're going to have today and paying for them, which is really generous. So thank you so much for that. And Vice Chair Lieber, would you like to make some comments, and also other board members?
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Chair. I want to echo his comments of appreciation to everyone for coming and joining us here in Sacramento. We very much value the relationship with each of our assessors. And I think that by going to the CAA conferences, we've been able to learn a lot from you, from what you're seeing directly on the ground and serving our mutual constituents. And we know that we can always call on you for help with constituent casework and with what you're seeing directly in the community. And so again, I want to thank you for being here today. I hope that everyone will take advantage of coming up to the mic to tell us what you're hearing and seeing, and that we'll also have a chance to talk over lunch. I think the lunches are all under the gift limit, so no one has to worry about that.
Thank you.
But again, just very much appreciate you joining us here today, and each year that you come up to Sacramento, it really means a great deal to us. So thank you.
Wonderful. Member Vasquez?
Yes, thank you, Chair Gaines and Vice Chair, for putting this together, and especially for our host, Vice Chair. It's always great to have all you come up. I know there's 58 counties, and it's difficult for all 58 to show up, but we always usually get, it looks like about 50%. And I'm always blessed. I always have 100% participation up here, with Jeff Prang being my only county assessor. But it's been great this last year, and I'm looking forward to the new leadership coming in. We have a strong woman that's going to take the helm, and looking forward to working with you in 2026. Really appreciate the fact that we've been able to interact quite a bit, at least for me, these last 7 years here on the BOE. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Deputy Controller Imran?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning to you all. And my name is Hasib Emran. I'm the California Deputy State Controller representing our great State Controller, Malia Cohen. It's such an honor to all have you here in my third year on this dais. And just continuing this collaboration, something I really, really appreciate is just the deep history and the legacy of this relationship between the board that dates back well over 100 years, and continuing to really solve some of our most pressing issues in terms of property tax administration and finding solutions, and especially in a modernizing world where technology is at the forefront, continuing to modernize our infrastructure and our boards. And I'm really, really looking forward to this day. I also want to thank Mr. Prang for your service this past year, Mr. Paul. Looking forward to working with you. Very, very happy to be here, as it is California's the fourth largest economy in the world. The controller and I get to travel and really flaunt that and really brag about it, but it really is the work of the assessors that makes this happen. I'm a former school teacher. I see those assessor dollars flow into our schools. It's so important when we have new infrastructure, new cafeterias, new textbooks. And I always think about the future of this great state and the kids especially, and it's the work that we do for them. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Member Schaefer?
Thank you, Chair. I want to first thank my colleague Sally Lieber for hosting coffee this morning for everybody. I'm particularly proud to have you all be here. This is the largest crowd we've had in this room, in the past year, and I'm so proud of the May Lee complex here. I'm honored to have known May Lee personally, and that happened because when I was newly elected, I met this little old lady that was 100 years old and was still working. And I asked her, I said, have you ever met the governor? She said, well, I met Jerry Brown once. And I thought, Gavin Newsom has a 100-year-old employee and he doesn't know that? I promptly called his office and arranged to bring her by, and we went over there and were warmly received, and pictures were taken, and she ended up, with the building. I wish I could have such kind of memorial. I want to thank all of you who came here in person and all of those who are tuned in remotely too. I think that's very important. I'm particularly happy to see Jeff Prang. I was with him at Knott's Berry Farm last week when he talked, and he always has a good message for us on behalf of all of you. We, of course, have our Assessment Practices Survey Division that monitors everything we all do. but the real important moment is when we get to say hello one-on-one, and I want you to know my door is always open. I come up with some creative ideas, like I think when the violent predators were put into your neighborhood, that affects the properties of the homeowners, and, you know, we can do something about it. Or down in San Diego, we have toxic beaches thanks to Tijuana sewage. We ought to do something about it. We have an opportunity to do a lot of good for a lot of people and make them appreciate government, and you're an important part of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Schaefer. We're now going to move on to greetings and introductory remarks by our Executive Director, Yvette Stowers.
Good morning. I'm Yvette Stowers. Good morning, Chairman Gaines, honorable members. I'm Yvette Stowers, the Executive Director for the State Board of Equalization. I'd like to recognize the Honorable Jeffrey Prang, President, California Assessors Association, Los Angeles County Assessor, and the Honorable Christine DePaul, President-elect, California Assessors Association, Mata County Assessor Recorder, and all of the assessors to the annual meeting. I want to take the moment to thank Assessor Prang for his almost year of service in his role as the president of the CAA and one of my advisory council members. And it was a great pleasure partnering with you this year. I also look forward to working with Assessor DePaul as she takes the helm as the incoming president of the CAA and in her to be an advisory council member. The annual meeting with the county assessors provides an opportunity to meet and discuss matters relating to the administration of property assessment and taxation laws and promote uniformity and tax procedure matters throughout the state of California. This meeting provides a forum of formal and informal dialogue between county assessors, board members to discuss concerns and common goals and formulate strategies to achieve them. I look forward to today's dialogue as it will assist us to identify and agree on shared priorities for 2026, after which we can work together to move forward in achieving our common goals. And finally, I just want to take a moment to briefly thank Vice Chair Lieber for sponsoring and organizing the Lunch for the Assessors and Board following today's meeting. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ms. Stowers. We'll now move on to item 20, and that is the California Assessors Association greetings and introductory remarks. And the speakers are Honorable Jeff Prang and also Honorable Kristen DePaul.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, honorable members of the board. It's a pleasure to be here today. I'm sure you're all probably thinking how better to add a little bit of life and excitement to the meeting than having a bunch of county property tax assessors here to liven things up. Probably could only be surpassed if this was a meeting of the Vector Control Board, but it is I did want to just for a housekeeping purpose, I wanted to suggest that maybe for future meetings that we have this in a more convenient and central location. I was thinking someplace closer where I live, maybe Culver City. But I want to give a special shout out to my board member, Tony Vasquez, who's been a good friend and partner these last 7 years. And a special shout out to my distant cousin, the chairman of it. Right. It's great to be with all of you. And I did want to suggest, since there was a summons issued to assessors for this, I think it's probably not a bad idea to send a CHP officer to pick up Assessor Fong La, who should have been here. But it's my honor to join you today as president de jure of the California Assessors Association. My term is coming quickly to an end. But we are here at the 59th annual meeting between the Board of Equalization and California Assessors. And I want to begin by expressing my gratitude to Chair Gaines and each of the board members for your continued commitment ensuring that property tax assessments throughout the state are carried out with fairness, equity, and uniformity. These annual meetings are a real testament to the long-standing collaboration between our offices and the Board of Equalization. This partnership is vital not only for maintaining consistency in assessments across California and our 58 counties, but to for upholding public trust in the property assessment system that funds essential services. People need to be confident that whether they live in Humboldt County or Imperial County, that the way that we apply the law is done the same and uniformly. On behalf of the California Assessors Association, I particularly want to thank all the members of your staff who are just invaluable to us in doing our job. Their ongoing professionalism, responsiveness, and thoughtful guidance throughout the year is invaluable. And I found that their support has been indispensable as we've navigated a number of complex and evolving assessment challenges in recent years, such as Prop 19 and amongst others. We particularly appreciate the board's leadership in providing clarity on issues affecting both assessors and property owners, such as the implementation of Proposition 19, especially regarding intergenerational transfers between parents and children, which has been a real challenge for us. Your guidance on misfortune and calamity provisions, particularly in the context of rebuilding after the rash of wildfires in recent years and other disasters, has also been critical, especially for my county and for Ventura County, which were heavily impacted by wildfires earlier this year. In addition, your collaboration and guidance in implementing the electronic signature authentication for BOE forms are helping us to modernize our processes and improve efficiencies statewide for property owners everywhere. These are just a few examples of how our collaboration continues to strengthen California's property tax administrative system. We look forward to continuing this productive leadership in the months and years ahead. And once again, I want to thank you for this opportunity to visit with you today. I'm glad to be joined by members of our board of directors, as well as assessors from across California. I'm looking forward to a very productive discussion today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Assessor Prang. Yeah, wonderful.
Good morning, honorable members of the board, assessors, and guests. Thank you all for your welcoming greetings, and Vet Stowers as well. And thank you for hosting us, Chair Gaines and Vice Chair Lieber. Thank you for lunch. In my tenure as assessor, I've come to truly recognize how beneficial the relationship between the assessors and the Board of Equalization is. We value your guidance on assessment topics and practices and continually welcome input from members and staff on things from new legislation to laws and policies. We also appreciate this time and opportunity that we have to connect at this annual meeting between the board and the assessors of each county and each year in this role and furthering this relationship. We look forward to another lucrative meeting and another year of strong partnership with the board. Personally, I'm looking forward to my year serving as the president of the CAA in 2026 and the opportunity for collaboration with the board members and the staff during this year to come. Thank you for the invitation to speak, and thank you for hosting us today.
Well, we're really looking forward to Assessor DePaul serving in that capacity, and a member of my district. And I think it's really, what's really nice about the County Assessors Association is how they draw from different parts of the state, whether it's urban or rural, and we're seeing that borne out right now. So looking forward to your service in the next year, and want to thank Assessor Prang for the great job you've done. So, yeah, that's right. That'd be a good resource. So we are supposed to take a 10-minute break now, but I don't know if we really need to do that. We okay? Okay, let's keep moving on. And the next item would be the California Assessors Association recap of 2025 and priorities for 2026. And again, this will be Assessor Prang and Assessor DePaul.
I didn't have prepared with any special remarks on this particular case, but I did want to acknowledge the hard work of the board of directors and the committee chairs and everybody within the Assessors Association. In so many ways, when I describe our association to people from the outside, I tell them that in a lot of ways, our association is almost like a shadow state agency. Because our association just doesn't get together to have, for social purposes. We have a very important task to ensure that we apply the property assessment laws equally across California, that we try to solve issues so that the way that we solve an issue in one county is done in the same way is in another. Unlike a lot of other organizations where they have a board of directors who tells the president what they're supposed to do, we actually have a bunch of working people on our board of directors, on our committees, who actually apply themselves to problem solving, because we have enormous amounts of work in order to provide these services throughout California. So I did want to acknowledge everyone in our association who puts in so much time and energy, including that of their staff. As you know, you're all elected officials, or at least 4 of the 5 of you are, and you know how it works. We have a challenge. We ask our staff to help us solve it, and they work really hard to get it solved, and then we take the credit. But it's important that we recognize that it is our staff who actually really do a lot of the heavy lifting for us, and I want to acknowledge them today. This last year was a difficult, challenging year for me as president. I was only on the job for 7 days when the wildfires in LA diverted my time and attention rather significantly, but the work of our association still needed to be done. Some of the most important things that we do as an association is monitoring what's going on in Sacramento with legislation. We sponsored a number of bills this past year, including several dealing with fire relief. The governor has signed most of the bills that we advocated for. I want to acknowledge Assessor Joaquin Torres from San Francisco, who headed our legislative committee and did a real yeoman's task to ensure that those bills made it to the governor's desk. One of the things that other big initiatives that we're working on with the Assessors Association is a new administrative structure for our organization. The last couple of years, we've had an administrator who helped us with logistics and meeting planning and record keeping and bookkeeping. We are now entering into a new strategic relationship with the association representing county clerks as election officials, as well as registrar quarters, to have a joint administrator who will help each of our organizations independently do our jobs more effectively. And I want to acknowledge Napa County Assessor John Tudor, who spearheaded that effort over the course of over the last year. And starting next year, we will have new administrative support to help us do our job more effectively. But it's a team effort that helps us to accomplish our goals. It's been a very productive year for the California Assessors Association, and has done in no small part due to your support and that of Yvette and David Young and all of your staff, who are just invaluable resources to all 58 of us. So thank you very much.
Okay, 2026 holds a lot of promise and maybe a few carryover issues. We do hope to further progress on the issue of whether a possessory interest exists for the administrator on housing owned by the Joint Powers Authority. I do want to acknowledge Assessor Parrish. He and Orange County have taken the lead on that issue with the assertion that a PI does exist for the administrator, and that issue has risen to the Superior Court level and will be heard at a date yet to be determined. And we do appreciate him allowing us to give an update on that as well. In the past couple of years, we have watched and suggested amendments to several bills that were aimed at the safety and protection of information of elected officials. This started as the Judge's Bill, AB 1785 and AB 343, but also included several others, notably AB 1337 and AB 302. This issue has really affected both the assessors and recorders associations, as part of these bills have been aimed at our offices and public offices in general. The CAA has met numerous times regarding this issue, and it's always had to work from the defensive stance. And thank you to Joaquin Torres. He has been wonderful as our ledge chair, as Jeff mentioned. The issue is complicated with no great solutions to this point. No great compromises from either side on what should and shouldn't be allowed. The CAA has resolved to be proactive in the pursuit of a suitable solution for protecting privacy and what may be accessible from our offices without compromising our mandates of providing and storing public information and records. On another note is the passage of SB 255, establishing a recorder notification program with the assessor's office, in coordination with the assessor's offices. The bill was brought forward to address the uptick in real estate fraud and will require each of the Board of Supervisors to authorize a resolution requiring the county recorder to mail notifications to the party or parties executing a deed, a quitclaim deed, a mortgage, or a deed of trust within 30 days of recordation. The notification will be sent to the address for mailing tax bills that was established prior to the recording of the document, requiring coordination between the assessor and recorder's offices in each county. Similar to the need of information sharing with the recorder in order to aid in the process of collecting documentary transfer tax for LEOP transactions, assessors are encouraged to find ways to assist and ease the process for both offices. The Assessor JPA, the California Assessor Information Technology Authority, has made significant progress, and Assessor Gakel is here to discuss that and take any questions on that piece. We do hope to have a vendor selected going into 2026 and note some real progress on both the Prop 19 and exemptions portal in the coming year. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to another year of collaboration with the board.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank you. And Assessor Tudor?
Good morning, Chair Gaines, members of the board. Jeff made the mistake of mentioning my name, and so here I am. This is my 39th appearance before this board. Not all of you were here, some of you weren't born then, but I just want to stress again the continuity of the relationship between our office and our staffs, not just with you as the electeds, but with your staff. I have had an excellent relationship with what I consider to be one of the best state agency staffs in California, and it's been a pleasure to work with them. It's especially a pleasure that they haven't figured out how to take my emails and automatically delete them. They have not done that yet. They're working on it, but they haven't made it yet. The one last thing I wanted to mention is that Member Schaefer is my generation. I mean, I'm younger than he is, but not much. And I want to see you in office at 100 also, because I plan to do that with you. I'll be right behind you. One last thing, I want to thank Jeff Prang and Joaquin Torres for an idea I had that I want this board to be aware of. Homeowners exemptions may remain after their home is destroyed, as long as they're planning to rebuild and they haven't established another exemption at another residence. That did not apply to disabled veterans. Disabled veterans lost their exemption immediately if their house burned down. And we've had, as you know, over 14,000 structures damaged in the last 8 years. And I know in this case that there were 29 disabled veterans in Los Angeles County, thanks to Mr. Prang and his wonderful staff to fill me in, who would have lost their exemption if it had not been for this legislation. So this legislation carried by Senator Allen with backing from Assessor Prang and myself and Mr. Assessor Torres did put into law that disabled veterans may keep their exemption, just as homeowners can, as long as they're planning to rebuild. And as you know, the disabled veterans exemption is a substantially greater property tax benefit than the homeowners exemption. So again, the cooperation, and one other thing I want to underline, the cooperation not just between us and your staff, Mr. Young and the top level, it's between our staff and your staff. Our staff reaches out to people on Lauren Keach's staff to ask questions about a Prop 19 question, an exemption question, and there's always a response and it's always immediate. So I wanted to pass my thanks on to Yvette and David and the team they've put together and that you lead, because without your support, they wouldn't be here to do that. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Assessor Tudor. Are there other assessors that would like to come forward and weigh in on anything discussed or not discussed? Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to our... Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Very good. Assessor Torres.
Next generation.
I just want to say thank you so much for always inviting us here. And again, just to echo the statements, both of our current president and president-elect, and of course, Assessor Tudor and others who've just spoken about the collective effort to move our legislative priorities forward, and also for your open ear and the collaboration of the Board of Equalization as well, in terms of understanding what the capacity issues might be for our organization, what the technical questions might be for us as assessors across the state. What we seek to do when we come to Sacramento, as you've heard from our leadership, is making sure that we can be seen as technical experts who can share with you the impacts and with legislators the impacts of legislation that might create additional pressures on our office that we want to at least be made aware of and have legislators be made aware of that could impede without attention to them, the ability to administer policy that's brought forward, but also to be sensitive to those issues that we've brought forward, especially as you heard from Assessor Prang in relationship to the LA wildfires, about changes necessary to best serve homeowners and taxpayers and their county's interests for the benefit of the community as a whole. That is what we seek to do when we're in Sacramento, when we visit with legislators. That's what we seek to do in our conversations with each other to ensure that we are helping to advance the public good through the lens and tools that we have. And I'm just very grateful for the continued partnership there. From a jurisdiction-specific area, we have just moved forward with going live with a new property assessment tax system. That is an upgrade that has been about a generation in the making. In terms of idea generation and finally actually getting the processes to move forward in a ethical, transparent, and rigorous manner in terms of understanding what our needs were across the city infrastructure through the Controller's Office, Treasurer and Tax Collector's Office, and our office, and creating more tools for the public to engage transparently with our services. At the same time, allowing our staff to be able to take on more complex issues collectively across divisions to ensure there are no divisions when it comes to serving a taxpayer interest. So we're very excited about that tens of millions of dollars project to be able to bring that online, but it has raised this other question of when and how the rate at which we're pursuing new technologies can be incorporated into our offices. It's certainly something that we focus on how the existing workforce can be supported with new technology that I know we're all talking about in our independent jurisdictions and also at the state and national level, but also being cognizant of the rate at which our systems, meaning our people and our resources, can, during a period of transition, be able to do their existing work, absorbing a new technology in and of itself to just continue doing our core services, and then leaning into new technologies that can support us in the 21st century and beyond. This is an interest for us, but we're very cognizant, and we hope that you are aware of this as well, and it's a message we share with legislators of the very real capacity questions that as executive leaders of our offices, we want to be sure that we're supporting our workforce through those transformational processes. Very much looking forward to the future year in conversation with you, advancing more legislation in partnership with you and the guidance of the BOE, with legislators, and continuing our work to serve the interests of Californians throughout the counties of California. So thank you all very, very much. I'm happy to take any questions if there's anything specific to San Francisco. Again, reminding, as I mentioned at the last meeting, Prop 19 is still an area of interest for us, even in San Francisco. Even during major civic demonstrations, peaceful, with no arrests involved in San Francisco, there were still over 30 people that made their way through Civic Center to be present for a financial planning conversation and how Prop 19 intersects with those personal family interests. Still angst and confusion around support, generally for the base year value transfer, still a lot of angst and questions around the intergenerational transfers, at least for us in San Francisco. So again, just raising that as an item that this question of fairness in accordance with our mission of fairness and accuracy and valuation, the fairness component is something that comes up in our conversations around intergenerational transfers surrounding Prop 19. So I wanted to share that with you as well from a San Francisco perspective. Thank you.
Question, if I could.
Yeah.
Thank you, Assessor Torres. Appreciate your comments. Is there, on this base year value issue, both that and the generational transfer of wealth, is there a way to fix that? There's been a lot of discussion on Prop 19 and seeing if we could fix, I think, as a priority, really the intergenerational aspect of having that asset pass on to a family member and not have to live in it. Because there's been a lot of wealth created over even the last couple of decades where that has not been possible. So is that one of the issues you're speaking to? And is there an opportunity to, since it's an initiative, it would take another fix through the ballot box in order to make any changes to Prop 19?
I think the most substantial questions are how would California respond to the financial impacts of changes to the intergenerational transfer aspect of Prop 19 that was passed with a little over 50% of the voters, with very clear articulation of the base year value transfer implications, but not the intergenerational ones. That still is going to be the rub in terms of how this does or does not move through the legislature and through the various committees because of that financial interest. That is the biggest question on if we lose these dollars here, where will they be made up elsewhere? That seems to be the big existential question that's been raised. But based on the conversations that we've seen thus far, at the ground level, the movement from grassroots organizations have not been able to either raise the money or collect the signatures necessary to continue to bring this back to the voters as a question that they would vote on. That's where we are right now. There are other elements and details that we've been in discussion with the BOE around, just in terms of the number of years that have passed since Prop 19 became active, specifically around the intergenerational transfer aspect in February of 2021. We're already moving past that 4-year statute of limitations on questioning the market rate value that's been noted of those properties. So there's additional work that we have to do there that can support taxpayers as well. But for the larger question, that is a big lift. As you know, tens of millions of dollars were spent by organizations to see this measure passed during that time in November of 2020. And I think it's going to take another big lift for changes to be made, both from a policy perspective, a trade-off conversation perspective, and diving into that question later on.
Yeah, they got outspent about 50 million to 1 million, right? And it was so tight, it was still close, even with that much money being spent in favor of it. Is there any opportunity at the legislative level to work on a fix that then could be put on the ballot?
I think that's the only way it's going to happen. You know, and as I've been talking to several of the folks, especially in the real estate that funded this thing, when you talk to realtors up and down the state, many of them didn't even know the impact this was going to have. And several of them that I know personally are sitting on 4 or 5 properties thinking that they were going to be able to pass it on to their kids without a tax burden. So it was actually hijacked from them, this initiative, when it first started. And I had this conversation with the author and my assessor, Jeff Prang. We talked about this before it got onto the ballot, or actually before the election. And he told me, don't worry about it, we'll make the adjustments, which was a bunch of BS at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, and I keep asking the same question, you know, this was supposed to generate 10 million minimum a year, and there's 0 in there now, here 5 years later? I mean, that's ridiculous. And I think the only way we do it, I don't think we should talk about reversing Prop 19. Maybe we need to come up with a new initiative that just talks about the transfer, intergenerational transfer, and just call it that for what it is. Let the other parts of it that I know some people are supportive of continue on. Because I just don't see it happening. Trying to say, and I know the Jarvis is trying to get the signatures. You know, to get 1 million signatures is a heavy lift. I think it's easier for us working with you and your organization to talk to the legislators and have them put it on the ballot. I think that's the way it happens.
If I may defer to our president for a moment before I jump back in.
With your permission, Mr. Chair, so I think the elephant in the room, as Assessor Torres has indicated, that the intergenerational transfer change to Prop 19 was put in there deliberately to offset the lost revenues from the base year transfer change. I am persuaded beyond a shadow of a doubt that if the average person knew that that intergenerational transfer was in Prop 19, it never would have passed, because there's a great deal of anger about that. What complicates it even more is that that the issue with intergenerational transfer is going to magnify in the years ahead as it becomes more impactful. In LA, under intergenerational transfer, only the first $1 million in value on a home qualifies for the exemption, and there's probably many counties where the homes aren't at that level. In LA County, the median sales price of a home is $980,000. It's higher than that in Orange County and in San Francisco, which means almost anybody who's going to inherit a home is going to pay higher taxes than they did before. And this is going to be, because it's going to be larger, and people are going to get angrier, and we have to start thinking about what that solution is going to be.
And then just to add on from a personal perspective, in San Francisco, as part of the implementation of AB 1466, which was talking about the discriminatory language that existed in covenants, records, and deeds, and the associated mapping project that we've been pursuing in partnership with the Stanford Regulatory Lab through their innovation and law departments down the peninsula, the considerations of who was able to buy property and when they were able to buy property in proximity to when this law changed is that the beliefs that so many of us have, myself included, about wanting to pursue and support intergenerational wealth building for those who happen to be communities of color primarily, Black and brown and Asian families, who were hoping to be able to use what society tells them a real estate asset as a tool for building generational wealth, intergenerational wealth, has been stripped of them because of this very particular provision. That those who, as you were mentioning, who had bought up multiple properties, thinking generations ahead on what that could mean for themselves and their families and their grandchildren and their heirs, has now been impacted because of the financial considerations and the very real troubling realities of cost of living up and down the state, notwithstanding the huge costs of areas like Los Angeles, San Francisco, and other large cities in California. So it's a conversation deep and rich in issues.
To be continued.
To be continued, yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much for the time and
Appreciate
again,
it.
always for the conversation and support.
Excellent. All right. Are there other county assessors who'd like to come forward? Yeah, please.
Good morning, board members. I am Josie Gonzalez. I am San Bernardino County Assessor, Recorder, and County Clerk. I am new to this venue. This is my first time, my maiden voyage here. It's a pleasure to meet you all. I am 10 months into serving my office, and I do have some concerns. I don't know, and please forgive, if the items I am about to bring up are items that have already been discussed. But as I said, being new, I find that some of these issues are of concern to me, be it though I may lack information or that in fact I am unable to find that information within my offices. With that said, I have mentioned that I am from San Bernardino County. We are the largest county in the contiguous United States. We are 22,000 square miles. We have a goods movement corridor next to none. We're a logistics mecca. And we have airports, Ontario Airport, San Bernardino International Airport, Southern California Logistics Airport. We have major railroad junctions. And with all of this comes a great deal of growth. I want to be able to have a closer relationship with you all, that I might find out why it is that I have come on board looking at my policies and procedures and standards and training manuals that are outdated and that I am unable to find the line items that pertain to the 2025, 2026, and so forth existing working environment needs. Without that, I find that I am the one that is having to go through my departments, asking them what it is they are facing in order for me to be able to begin an outline, let alone a final product of what it is we're supposed to be doing at this point in time. As was mentioned earlier with the AI technology that is upon us, I need that desperately. I want to also know, I need more information on special properties relative to the fact that we have new development that is in transition from old to new, and then some that is brand spanking new. And I'll give you an example. Post-COVID, we not only have empty office square footage, office space. We have some of our warehouses, because we have had such a configuration of new industrial development, have been empty for a minute, again, post-COVID. But I find that they are being transitioned into a new use, where small businesses are moving into industrial areas, leaving the commercial areas, and becoming print shops, auto shops. Many of them are online suppliers, and ultimately generating income from an arena that previously did not do so. So I need help in identifying these new uses, and how do we value these new uses? Also, I have a new development that is coming up on board, where residential, high-density residential is taking place without parking, because there are partnerships that are coming in from respective cities who, in wanting to become part of the entrepreneurial, if you will, component of the growth of their city, they are building the parking. And so now I have, as I said, high-density residential with no parking. How do we value that? I find no category for that. Will that come under special districts? How will we do that? Also, I'm exploring data centers that are coming in, being proposed to come into my county. How will I be able to categorize these new type of developments? With that said, I am in total agreement of what was previously said relative to Proposition 19. It is impacting our intergenerational population. There is a great deal of disappointment and anger from property owners who are finding out the reality of the situation. With that said, I also will ask for guidance relative to AB 1430 and to AB 1456. One went, I would say, failed to get approval from the governor, and we are stuck with those additional costs. No one asked us. These unfunded mandates really need to be called out, and we need to be represented at the state level. I resent the fact, as much as I like real estate, but CAR really did us a poor turn in not helping us and being good partners with this. And again, relative to the redactions, to have to go do this without funding, and the time that it takes, and the many times that these line items occur in one document, is ultimately an impact. With this, I thank you for your attention.
Assessor, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I look forward to coming down and visiting you in your district. And you had mentioned that you've been at the job for 11 months and it was kind of like drinking from a fire hose. Well,
I did, didn't I?
I think we just heard a fire hose. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, you're on it, and I appreciate that. And I'd like you to be in touch with the BOE. This is Yvette Stowers. Have you met?
Yes, I just met Miss Yvette. Yes.
Wonderful. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to answer the questions that you have. And
Yvette Stowers. Yes, we met
Great.
already.
Thank you.
I will be reaching out to her, myself and Dave Young, and see what we can do with some of the issues that are within our preview.
wonderful. It's nice to have someone that, Assessor Gonzalez, you were on the Board of Supervisors for how many years?
16.
16. So you bring a picture that's unique, I think. Not in all cases, but you've got a perspective of how a county runs, and now you're the county assessor, and you're going, hey, some of these things don't make sense. So I'm hoping we can provide clarity and also use your background in terms of how we can improve, in terms of how we operate at the BOE. So.
And if I may, Chair, you bring up an excellent point. I will tell you that with the background that I bring, I find that it is egregious that there is such a dire separation between county government, the Board of Supervisors, and the assessors, recorders, county clerks, archives. It is abominable I come into an arena thinking that I know at least where the light switch is, and come to find out that these offices that I now represent have existed in a silo, and that we have to fight, scratch, and claw for funding from the board, which ultimately comes from the hard work of the people that I now represent.
Yes, yeah.
And that is egregious, and we need to find a way to be able to bring a broader relationship, partnership, and knowledge into this house.
Great. Now, you've got the experience to hopefully
you.
build that relationship, right, with the county.
Well, I'll give it a try, and the invitation stands, Chairman.
Wonderful, thank you. Great. Other comments by members of the board? Would any other county assessors?
If nobody's going to speak, I was just going to come back to the original presentation we had from both our past chair and now our incoming chair. One, to thank Jeff Prang for his service this last year. And I know, like you mentioned in your opening remarks, coming into a situation where, boom, we got hit with these two huge fires, which kind of took you out probably of a lot of your responsibilities and your game plan in terms of what you probably wanted to do as the president of the association. And I know Mr. Paul had to step in and do quite a bit. So moving forward, I was just kind of curious, one, to find out what are some of the things that you intended to do at the beginning, but because of the fires you got sidetracked, that we possibly should maybe continue to look at or see if we can, what, if anything, we can do with those potential goals, and then things that you maybe didn't list or didn't think about, but after this year now are thinking that we should maybe look at, or that should be on the agenda for 2026.
Thank you, Member Vasquez. I appreciate the question. I will say that, as I stated earlier during my remarks, that we have such an incredible team of leaders in our association that when I was out of commission, our president-elect stepped in, the committee chairs, the board of directors filled in to make sure that the things that I thought were important continued to move along. And there's really nothing that was terribly critical to me that we weren't able to at least begin to make progress on. But there's a couple things that have occurred to me during my tenure as it relates to our relationship with the Board of Equalization that I want to leave with you as things that we might want to think about, talk together about, and see if there might be solutions. Obviously, Proposition 19, we've talked a lot about that today. Prop 19 required us to create, and as I referenced this a little bit earlier, to create a new shadow state agency. Assessor Don Gakel is chairing our Assessors Association IT Joint Powers Authority. We had to create this Joint Powers Authority in order to facilitate the communication of information between assessors, a sort of arrangement that didn't really exist substantively before. What we are doing really mirrors what state government would typically do, and I think this is a good point to begin the conversation with the BOE to see what we can do to collaborate to ensure that this exchange of information between base year transfers between counties is done effectively long term. Other issues that are important to assessors, as you probably know, my office spent the last 10 years investing over $130 million in upgrading our technology platform from an old legacy mainframe to a new cloud-based digitized system. But I do know that technology is still a challenge with assessors throughout California. Old technology is still an impediment to local government. There are probably things that the Board of Equalization can do to create some baselines on technology by working with the association, and I think that's something, it's an idea that I have, but Kristen will do all the work on it as our incoming president. And then the third issue, which is a constant challenge for assessors, is training, hiring, recruiting, hiring, onboarding and training new appraisers. We all have vacancies. They're difficult to fill. The Board of Equalization has a program, but I think with the challenges that a lot of counties have had in recent years, we need to find a way to make that more robust and more responsive to 2025 and beyond needs. You probably are aware that we've created some unique programs in LA County with partnerships with a number of community colleges to train some of our specialized positions. I think there's lessons there that could apply statewide and be a real value to the other 57 counties as well.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Paul had, as she's thinking now in her new role, things that you might want to share with us now, or is it something that you'll make a presentation to us later?
For the future, I definitely think that Prop 19 is going to be the gift that just keeps on giving for everyone. So we'll definitely be tackling that. Seems like some of the larger counties like Joaquin are dealing with it more head-on every day than we are. So just working collaboratively with each of the counties and the board to try to find better solutions to serve the constituency. It is going to be a challenge because even if you did develop legislation appropriations, it's just going to hit a wall when it comes to the money and to trying to fund the gap that it'll leave by changing the intergenerational transfer rules. Other than that, we're moving forward with a lot of different things, and a lot of counties are fighting different fronts. It does sound like there's an intangibles working group that I'd really like to hear a little bit more about. And that was suggested to me as a topic for a presentation I'm giving in December to the CADA board. And so I would like to hear a little bit more about that and maybe our input on that and some of the other ideas that are coming through the board. We would like to be really involved when you guys are talking about different issues like that and et cetera. And Ms. Lieber talking yesterday about the corporations and paying a different share and et cetera. We'd like to be a part of that conversation as well.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. I think we're ready to move forward to our next item, and that would be the California County Assessor Information Technology Authority, Joint Powers Authority update by Honorable Don Gakel.
Thank you, Chair Gaines and members of the board. Don Gakel, Stanislaus County Assessor and Chair of the California County Assessors Information Technology Authority. Can't go into the discussion without a brief history of how we got here. Prior to 2022, the Department of Finance had made grants available to individual counties for technology improvements. Going into 2022, they kind of decided they didn't want to do that. And CAA leadership, and in large part Alameda County Assessor Fong La, went into discussions with the Department of Finance that resulted in passage of Revenue and Taxation Code 95.6, which called for the formation of an authority among the assessors to receive monies to create technology improvements to benefit all county assessors who wanted to participate in the program. So we went forward with that. We created a joint power authority on November 15th, 2022. We had 16 counties when we started. And that's grown to 33 member counties. In that first year, we did receive our first installment of $10 million from the state. And based on our annual filings and progress reports, we also received $10 million in the fall of 23 and $10 million in the fall of 24. And our funds are currently invested with Cal Trust.
Could I just interrupt, just for clarity, if you could help me on the amount of money you said,
well,
was it 23 and 24?
$30 million
30, okay.
in 3 installments.
Very good,
In
thank you.
22, 23, and 24.
Thank you.
So that was, and we formed a board, and by our forming document, our board consists of the current CAA president, which is Jeff Prang, the current CAA treasurer, who acts as treasurer of the JPA as well, and that is currently Keith Taylor. Coordinating assessor is Fong La of Alameda County. And then there are 6 at-large assessors, 2 from large counties, 2 from medium counties, and 2 from small counties that serve in staggered 2-year terms. It's currently myself, Don Gakel, Stanislaus County as a large county, Steve Bestelarides, San Joaquin County as a large county, John Tudor, Napa County as a medium county, and Marina Camacho as a medium county, assessor from Monterey, and then 2 small county assessors, Jennifer Perry of Del Norte County and Kristen DePaul of Modoc County. Now, come January 1st, Kristen will transfer over to the position occupied by the current CAA president, and Assessor Craig Kay of Siskiyou County was volunteered and approved by the board to serve out the remainder of Kristen DePaul's term on the board. So at any rate, we got the board set up, and 2023 was a very educational time for us, realizing that suddenly we are a local government authority, having to set up ordinances, having to learn to deal with the Brown Act, among other things. But we did get a lot accomplished. We engaged with Tech Systems, a state agency. We were approved project managers. We engaged with Gartner Incorporated for advisory and strategic services. We hired Pinnacle Advocacy in Sacramento to provide executive director and accounting services. And we created 2 ad hoc subcommittees with separate chairs and separate project managers to explore Prop 19 statewide database portal and an exemptions online filing portal. Those committees worked throughout the year with subject matter experts from the counties and recommended a RFP for a proof of concept that would cover both of those. And we did that. The proof of concept was completed in 2024 by Just Appraised Incorporated. Project managers began work with committees and subject matter experts in various counties, including Board of Equalization, David Young, and along with Gartner to develop RFP for a production version of Prop 19 exemptions portal. At the end of 2024, the board abolished the 2-committee approach and created 1 ad hoc committee to oversee the whole process with 1 project manager. And that committee is made up of assessors John Tudor, Napa County as chair, Fong Law, Alameda County assessor, and Kristen DePaul, Modoc County assessor. And they have worked with the project manager to oversee that development of the RFP, which was finally issued on April 28th of 2025. We received applications in the end of June was the deadline. During the month of July, the committee, subject matter experts, Gartner, project manager, evaluated the written submissions, which were from 4 companies, and scored them and rated them based on their written proposals. Following that, the committee recommended that all 4 companies be given an opportunity to move forward to an oral presentation, which they did in the end of August of 25. And at our meeting of the board in October in Orange County, the committee recommended that we move forward with the top 3 companies, which were Oracle, Just Appraised, and Tyler Technologies, to go into contract discussions with all 3 companies to make sure that the authority is getting the best possible contract before they come back with a recommendation for a final selection. And that is pretty much where we stand today.
Excellent.
All those discussions about Prop 19 aside, we're going ahead with our preparation to deal with this.
Wonderful, that's encouraging. And so when you've made the decision on who to go with, how's it going to work? And you've got 33 member counties, and so once you've decided on the technology, would each of those members have access to that?
Yes, but one of the things that we required and the committee recommended and the subject matter experts worked on is we required the companies to submit an application that could be flexible so that it could meet individual counties at whatever level they want to participate with the program, whether they want it to do everything for them or if they just want to be able to interact, to exchange with other counties. So we asked for them to submit a proposal that would cover those things.
And can other counties join after, or is it already set?
Well, there are counties that are part of the JPA, but part of the implementation of the state, it wanted us to make it available to all counties that wanted to participate in the services that were offered, so.
Wonderful, thank you. Other questions or comments? Excellent, well, thank you so much. I appreciate that, great presentation. We'll now move on to the next item, and that is the Assessment Appeals Board. Work group follow-up on AAB efficiencies, and we have Honorable Greg Monteverde, Santa Clara County Assessor.
Thank you, honorable members of the board, for assembling the 2025 Assessor and Assessment Appeals Board Issues Work Group and holding meetings in April and September. Thank you. Your invitation to discuss, number one, key aspects of the assessment appeals process causing lengthy delays and discussion of streamlining proposals. 2, streamlining the property tax refund process. 3, expanding the use of e-signatures. And 4, troubleshooting Prop 19 challenges, was timely and engaged property tax stakeholders from throughout the state, including assessors, Clerk of the Board Association, CADA, and others. Discussion of the appeals process resonated with both the Santa Clara County Assessor's Office and the Clerk's Office, with testimony from each at the September hearings. We strive to resolve assessment appeals as quickly as possible, tracking resolution time annually and usually resolving residential appeals in less than a year. Regrettably, recently, resolution time has increased, spurring our involvement in the work group as we search for streamlining opportunities for Santa Clara County and the state as a whole. As we considered the causes of delays, we identified 2 primary drivers. 1, poor coordination amongst the assessor's office and the clerk of the board's office in scheduling assessment appeals. We submitted draft revisions to LTA 2013-039 recommending that when the assessor's office provides recommended hearing dates, the clerk of the board's office shall adopt them whenever feasible, provided that the schedule does not create a prejudicial pattern favoring the assessor's office and is consistent with the Assessment Appeals Board's capacity to hear appeals. If amendments to the proposed schedule are necessary due to fairness, capacity, or other administrative concerns, the clerk of the board's office shall promptly initiate a collaborative process with the assessor's office to revise the schedules. This process must prioritize communication and consensus between the clerk of the board's office and the assessor's office rather than unilateral action. The second factor delaying resolution was postponements and continuances. We drafted a document defining good cause for postponements and continuances, stating that, number 1, postponements generally be disfavored. Number 2, a party requesting a continuance must provide a written declaration along with an explanation for it. And 3, that AABs, or Assessment Appeals Boards, deny postponement or continuance requests without such a declaration. 4, finally, we set up a structure for Assessment Appeals Board consideration factors when considering requests for postponements or continuances. We believe that these streamlining suggestions, formalized in letters to assessors form, would provide effective guidance to appeals stakeholders and result in faster and more efficient appeals resolution throughout the state. And we look forward to working with you to bring it to fruition. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you for your presentation and all the work that you've done. Members, any questions?
Chair Gaines?
Yes, please.
If I
Assessor
could.
Tudor.
John Tudor, Napa County Assessor. I'm also the chair of the Future Projects Committee for the Joint Powers Authority. And one of the discussions using the model of the Prop 19 and exemptions portal was to do a statewide assessment appeals board application portal and management. The driving force on that has to be the clerks of the board. As you know, constitutionally, the clerks of the board are the property owner's conduit to the assessment appeals board or a local board of equalization. And I'm probably one of the few assessors who sat on a local board of equalization back when I was a county supervisor in the 70s. We're now an assessment appeals board county. But one of the reasons I ran for assessor was that experience with assessment appeals and seeing how complex they are and how important they are. So I've been working with the clerks of the board prior to Mr. Vasquez's or Member Vasquez's great initiative on this working group to get the conversation going between assessors and clerks of the board. Los Angeles County, through their clerk of the board, they are the largest assessment appeals pool in the state, of course, with 1/3 of the parcels. They also have a big chunk of the assessment appeals. They did a study with an outside consultant looking at streamlining their services. And what we're hoping is to catapult that where the clerks of the board, hopefully in conjunction with the CAA, that'll be something Kristen DePaul and I will be talking about next year, and with the Board of Equalization, because you have a clear role in assessment appeals boards, and you do some oversight of that as you do with us, to see if we can get the same kind of legislation through the California legislature to put a pot of money at the clerk of the board's disposal to create like a joint powers authority and build the same kind of portal. The timing couldn't be better. Assuming we do issue a contract by the end of this year or early in 2026 from the JPA to this technology vendor, we'll have a model that will be up and operating, hopefully mid-2026, second quarter, third quarter 2026. And that could be a model that could be shown to the legislature, that could be worked on with you to see if we can get some funding flowing in the 26-27 budget or one of those years to the clerks of the board. It's not going to be the $30 million that's needed for what the assessors have been doing. And by the way, we're not spending all of that on this first project. We're still going to be there doing other creative things. But I hope that we would have your cooperation with the assessors, assuming Ms. DePaul, President-elect DePaul, and I agree on which way we should support the clerks of the board, that you would be a part of that triumvirate of getting that legislation moving. So I just wanted to alert you to that as something that I'm not sure who will be asking you from our side. That'll be up to President-elect DePaul, but we'll be in conversations with you and with the clerks of the board during 2026.
Question, if I could.
Yes.
How would that money be used?
So it would be used to do just what the California Assessors Association, JPA, did. Create a JPA, get vendors, create an RFP. I think they can build a lot on the LA County study. It didn't have all the pieces, but it had a lot of the ideas. So we've already got a $250,000 or more study that was done. So I think we've got a platform. We're going to have the example of the JPA with the Prop 19 and exemptions portal. I think it's a perfect conflux of good ideas coming together, and hopefully we'll be able to get the legislature to invest. Now, I haven't gotten the buy-in from the leadership of the clerks of the board yet. They've just split off from the county assessor, the county elections and clerks officials. I'm also a county clerk and an elections official. The clerks of the board split off and have their own association and their own legislative person who's representing them, their advocate. And I haven't entered into that, but I'm in touch with the president of the clerks of the board and just keeping that conduit open as we go forward.
Would that be primarily for technology, or is it broader than that?
No, I think it would be primarily technology.
Yeah,
I
okay.
mean, if you can, LA County's invested a lot of money on the clerk of the board side in smoothing out and streamlining their system along the lines of what Acting Assessor Monteverde said. And so we've got the momentum going in the largest county, and it'll just be a question of, and the clerks of the board have participated very bountifully in Member Vasquez's working group, so
Yes.
the energy's there.
Great. Member Vasquez.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming back and sharing this with us. And I was wondering, and I know Member Gayko earlier when he was talking about the IT JPA, and I know yesterday we got a presentation from our executive director on the IT or the modernization that's taking place here. Is there any collaboration or any compatibility as we move forward? Because I know we're looking to improve our situation here in terms of modernization within the BOE, and you folks are looking to do the same. I don't know if that's something, not being an IT person, if that's something that's even doable or makes sense.
Well, there's some territory issues here that I'm very open, and as Assessor Joaquin mentioned, transparency. You know, it is the clerks of the board's function. The assessors, I'm sure, because we're deeply involved, along with the boards of the Assessment Appeals Board, would want to cooperate with supporting that. But to answer your question, whatever the board's doing in terms of technology, whatever the California Assessors Information Technology, JPA, is doing in terms of technology, it's a breeding ground for this next step of a statewide AAB portal. And hopefully there would be synergy there that all three, they may not happen at the same time. We'll be first with the assessor's portal because it's on its way and the funding's there. But it's a perfect model, and I think it would give a great example that the clerks of the board could join in.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Assessor Tudor.
You're welcome,
Appreciate
Chair
it.
Gaines.
Chair Gaines?
Yes.
I just wanted to add that Assessor Tudor's committee has not come back with any formal recommendations to the board, and the board hasn't considered any future projects officially at this point. But certainly, we would be interested in projects that benefit assessors.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Thank you. Okay, this is an opportunity here. I don't believe we have any written comments. Is that accurate in reference to what we've discussed today? Is there anybody in the audience that would like to come forward and make any public comment? Okay. Seeing none, why don't we go to the AT&T moderator? And if you would please let us know if there's anybody on the line that would like to make a public comment regarding these items on the agenda.
If you would like to make a comment, please press 1, then 0. And at this time, there are no comments.
Great, thank you, moderator. Okay, we just have one last item on the agenda, and that's Vice Chair Lieber and lunch, right?
Well, before he sneaks out of the room, I want to give a special thanks to Doug Winslow, who has arranged all this for us, and a thank you to our chairman for sharing the hosting duty with our office. And are we ready for closing comments about what we've heard today?
Yes.
I just wanted to say that it's tremendously exciting and heartening to hear about the capacity building that's going on that can help all counties, and the very in-depth work that's being done towards technology to help our state be more coordinated, and ultimately that'll be to the good of those who find themselves needing to interface with their assessor's office. And I think it can really be a model for other venues of government, be it at the regional or state level, what you're finding out and the great work that is going on. So another great session with our assessors, and we look forward to continuing to work with you.
Wonderful. Member Vasquez.
No, thank you, Chair. And I wanted to thank especially some of you that traveled long distance to get to us today, to join us. To me, it's real refreshing to hear not only from some of our older electeds here about what's going on in the state, and especially as it pertains to property tax, but now to hear from the new generation is I'm looking across here at one of our young members here from San Francisco, Joaquin. I think I knew your parents before you did. So I'm kind of dating myself here, but at the end of the day, it's refreshing. They see and hear this new generation, the energy that they're coming with. And I know with the leadership we have here, the outgoing chair, Mr. Prang, and then the incoming new chair, Mr. Paul, that you will be great mentors for this new generation that's coming after you. So I really appreciate it. Looking forward to working with you in 2026.
Awesome. Okay, we'll now move forward to Deputy Controller Imran.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also want to thank everyone for their time and participation and energy traveling to the Capitol today. Just kind of continuing this trend right here. The Controller and I have been part of the Board of Equalization, now the Controller's Office, for 7 years now, and I've seen this relationship grow to the strongest it's ever been, and continuing this collaboration is so important for the citizens of California. And like President-elect Paul was saying, there's a lot of great things on the horizon for the Board of Equalization in 2026, including that intangibles work group, and we want to continue to coordinate with the CAA and all the assessors individually as well as we continue this great work. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike, or, no, yeah, Member Schaefer.
Not only for the members who are the assessors who are actually physically here, but for those who have chimed in and are listening to us and able to participate. Sometimes our office sends requests out to your office for information, and we did that on September 2nd, and of 58 letters that went out, we only had 33 responses. So there's about maybe a third that don't stay in touch with us every time. I would like to ask that all of the assessors, as a matter of courtesy, when they do get something from the BOE, that they have some kind of response. Maybe the response is we don't have that data, or we provided it for you in some other way, just so we know that we're getting close to 100% contact with those that we work with. I'm very pleased with what I've learned this year, working with all of you, and I'm impressed with the quality of the assessors that I have actually met. We are a different part of the state down there. As you recall, we had live ammunition shooting across Grand Pendleton. We're doing a lot of goofy things in Southern California, but statewide, we're a rich organization, and we're doing a lot of good for the people, and that's what's important. Thank you.
Wonderful. That's great. Yeah, I just want to thank the county assessors. Thank you, Assessor Prang, for your leadership, and we're looking forward to the next year. And Kristen DePaul, assessor, is going to do a great job in 2026, and very excited about the collaboration, and I think it will continue, and we'll hopefully continue to make our constituents proud in terms of what we're doing as members of the BOE and as county assessors. So on that note, we will adjourn the meeting, and our next board meeting is Tuesday, November 19th, 2025 at 10 a.m. right here at the May Lee State Office Complex. And we're gonna go have some lunch. So are we just going across the courtyard? Yeah, okay, very good, thank you.